Hello Facebook ads people, I'm Konstantinos. 2023 is here and today we're going to discuss about all of my strategies and all of the things that I'm doing across several accounts which I'm going to show you in order for you to have the best ads for 2023 and very good profits. So this video is going to be mostly showing you things inside active live accounts from a lot of my clients. One good thing that I really love is that I met a lot of you through YouTube. You came to me, we started working with your businesses, and today for this reason I'm going to show only accounts from people that I have worked through YouTube, people that came after watching my videos and they are understanding that they have a different philosophy and we were very good fit and we managed to scale their ads. You know that I have several methods. Let's just start talking about it. For example, we have the crazy method, which goes with everything. Then we have lookalikes, stacked lookalikes, or the high society. We have the Advantage Plus, which is not my method, but I have a special way of optimizing them and scaling them. And we also have something which broad targeting, the way that we do it, CBOs optimization, and of course the manual bidding, which is an exceptional something different that we do in just some accounts. Most of them are United Kingdom and Europe. So all of these strategies together, they compile a whole philosophy, which I'm going to share with you in the next minutes if you bear with me and you start seeing the accounts. And I'm going to show you live that here I'm using this strategy, this strategy, this strategy. It doesn't mean that all of those are going to work in all of the accounts. If they work, it's perfect. But some of those are working in some accounts, some of those are working in others. As I said several times in this channel, this is why we have several strategies, because we want to have different ways of approaching and scaling ad accounts, or even making ad accounts successful in terms of ROAS. Now, that being said, let's go to my computer to show you all of these different accounts, to show you results, to show you how we scaled during different periods, with which ways we were able to do it in each one of the accounts, small accounts, big accounts, just a variety, because I understand not all of you have accounts of 100, 200k spent. So I'm going to show you even accounts that they spend 3k, for example, per month. The most important thing for me is that these are actual people that they came from YouTube and we were able to cooperate, and I'm very, very, very happy for that. Let's go to my PC. So let's start. Let me start showing you different accounts. In this account over here, we were using, of course, stacked lookalikes, and we were using also Advantage Plus campaigns. As you can see here, the stacked lookalikes are not working. By the way, they were working some months ago very well. Right now, I can see that the account is shifting more towards the Advantage Plus campaigns, so I'm focusing more in the Advantage Plus campaigns because apparently this is what is working here. In this account, and I'm going to pick the ones that they have spent in the, let's say, last 30 days, so that you can see what is happening on this account on this period. So let's filter those by selection. Let's take also this one. Let's filter by selection. So here we have 2.41, 74k spent. This brand has break-even ROAS of 1.8. We're doing very well. That means the owner is willing to go up to 1.8 because he can see the benefit of long-term marketing and everything, and he wants to scale. So this is what I'm doing for the last period. Of course, I'm keeping a safe distance in the ROAS in order for not to drop below 1.8, which would be bad. But over here, you can see that the way that we are doing most of the ads is this. Not a lot of retargeting, just 10% in retargeting, and what we are having is some combination of stacked lookalikes and Advantage Plus, but mostly Advantage Plus because the Advantage Plus is working very well here. We have some different ways of doing Advantage Plus over here, which is why I'm showing you this account, because I want to explain how we can do Facebook ads with Advantage Plus in 2023. Over here, what you can see and what we can see in most Advantage Plus campaigns is that most of the times it's actually optimizing towards one ad. What happened over here in this Advantage Plus? Advantage Plus campaigns are not to do and forget. They also need some specific optimization in order to work. And what I mean by that is this. So the ad started and they will start spending in these two ads over here, which sadly I cannot show so that I can protect the client. And they were spending over here, but they were not spending with good results. We were below our break even. We explained in other videos about Advantage Plus that when the Advantage Plus is starting, you have to be very careful in the first 2-3 days, because the Advantage Plus is all about focusing in one ad set and actually spending all the money there. You need to focus, you need to see if the ad set that is picking is the correct one and giving you the ROAS that you want, because if it doesn't, you have to kill it so that it can spend in another one or maybe in another one. So this is what happened here. I actually killed these two that they were bothering me and didn't let me to have the results that I want. And then we have this one here, which is actually producing the results that I want. Okay, and we're having very good results with this specific ad over here. And if you see yesterday, for instance, it's even higher, so we have a tendency of going higher instead of the 2.2, which means that I can even scale this budget. But the other thing that I want to mention is that, as you can see, it's spending all the amount of money in just this one ad set. So don't expect from the Advantage Plus to work like the CBO. The point here is to actually let the Advantage Plus give it enough options so that it can spend, decide which one is the good one, and then just focus in this one. Don't forget that the Advantage Plus is a consolidation method, and it wants to go and focus in one ad set so that it can pass the learning phase fast and have good results. And this is what it does. As you can see, the whole budget is being spent here. That means that in comparison to CBO campaigns and the way that we optimize, here you can actually increase the budget. So you can take the budget from 500. In that case, we can do it together here if you want. We see that, let's see also the previous days a little bit. On the 6th, we have good results. On Sunday, not so good. On Saturday, 1.39. So it's increasing in the last 2 days. I will keep it like this, or I would do a small bump on 600 just to see how it's going to behave in the next days. Let's see what is happening today. Okay, it's too early in the United States right now, but from what I can see is that, okay, it's 2.11 now, but I'm seeing an increase. So I can give it more budget to spend. And this is something that you can do with Advantage Plus. Another thing you should do is this. You should run the ads without these three. Okay, so when you see an Advantage Plus that is working very well, it doesn't mean that you used all of the creatives efficiently. You can duplicate it, remove the one that is working and is taking all the budget so that you're not going to compete also with this specific ad all the time. And I don't believe in competition anyway, but let's say that this is also another factor. What you can do is that you can take this ad out, you can have all the others because they haven't been tested efficiently. What it can happen here is that most probably another one is going to work, and suddenly, instead of having just one Advantage Plus campaign, you can have two. Do you understand how important is this for scaling? Because you are able immediately, instead of having just one campaign spending 500, you have two campaigns working, maybe, with 1000. So Advantage Plus also is giving us this option of being able to have a lot of creatives and spending a lot of money immediately, like 500. What's the minimum that you can do with Advantage Plus? I'm guessing you can do 100 with 10 creatives, something like that. If you do 50, I would suggest you to do only catalog. Actually here I'm having one Advantage Plus campaign which is working with a catalog. Let me find it. I think it's this one. No, it's not. No, it's not. Maybe this one. It's not. Then it's this one. No, it's not. Then it's this one. Of course, it's like when you're trying to find, when you have your coat and you're trying to find the actual jacket that you have your keys, and you always go on the first pocket that doesn't have the keys, and then you have to find the other pocket. So same thing happened here. So here we have an Advantage Plus, and we are having different creatives over here, and we're having a catalog also. From my experience with Advantage Plus, most of the Advantage Plus that I have seen with a catalog and other creatives, the catalog is always winning, not in terms of ROAS, but in terms of taking the budget. If the ROAS is not there, as I said, you have to kill the ad so that it can go and focus in somewhere else. But in smaller accounts that they spend 100 or 50 and they have several items, I think that catalog ads inside the Advantage Plus is super beneficial and it's something that you should do, because I can see that it has very good results even by spending 50 per day. So another note over here is this. Now, the way that we are scaling this account is, of course, we're trying from time to time CBO campaigns, crazy method and stuff, but the account seems that it's behaving better with Advantage Plus. No big deal, no ego, it's fine. If it's working better with Advantage Plus, perfect. Before, by the way, Advantage Plus, it was working amazingly well with Crazy Method also, but if we have better results with Advantage Plus only, let's do only Advantage Plus. The two ways that we're doing Advantage Plus in this account is this. This is a very active company on social media, so we're doing Advantage Plus campaigns with a lot of posts. So each one of the ads over here, in this campaign, for example, each one of the ads is actually a different post that we have seen that it is trending right now on their social media. And then what we're doing is we're doing normal Advantage Plus with different creatives and different copies over there, so that we will be able to test also individual creatives that we want, and they are not actual posts. I really like the post idea because the posts, they also have, I believe that the previous video that I made, it was about posts, and it was all about helping you scale even more, because all the comments and the credibility stays there, and it helps you sell even more, even to the people that they don't know your brand. But you know, as people and as consumers, we always like to see what the others are doing, and then we are also following with that. So in that situation, this is how the Advantage Plus is working. Whenever I'm seeing something working with 15 ads, I'm removing the one that's working, duplicating all over again. For example, this is a campaign that I'm starting today, and it's based on this campaign over here, which is working with this one. In this specific store, we have different items with different average order value. So let's say, for example, that we have a t-shirt, but we have also hoodies, but we have also sunglasses, okay? And these have different price points, so maybe the ROAS that we're going to see is going to be less for the sunglasses, which are cheaper, and more for the hoodies or for the jacket that it's going to be more expensive. It makes total sense. What we really like to do in this account is we like to separate the Advantage Plus based on the different categories and the average order value that they bring. So if we have jewelry, which the average order value is 25, we're going to evaluate it in a different Advantage Plus and not mix it together with an apparel Advantage Plus campaign, which maybe has an average order value of $60. So it's also important because Facebook is going to find the easiest solution over there to have sales in an Advantage Plus campaign focusing in one ad. Maybe it's better for you to separate them in different categories which have different average order values, so that you won't have problems of return on ad spend. The thing here is that in this campaign we have seen that this is working, and whatever I'm saying in theory I'm doing also here in the other accounts. So what I'm doing is I'm removing these three, the two ones that I closed because they didn't work and the one that is actually working, and I'm going to move it in a new campaign without these three, because I believe that it's not only about using some post IDs, but it's also about the fact that I believe that these post IDs haven't been tested thoroughly. So what I'm going to do, the other post IDs, I mean, not the ones that they are actually spending already. So results over here on this account is that we're having 2.47, 19k spent in the last 7 days. If you go on last 30 days, 2.41, 74k spent. I'm going towards increasing the spend of this account. Right now we are on 3k spent per day after scaling. I believe this is the reason. Yeah, 2.64, but I believe we were a little bit higher in the previous days. Yeah, 2.8, so I'm decreasing a little bit because I'm doing the new campaign over there, but most probably will be on 3k per day, which is taking us to 90k for the month. And I want to take this with Advantage Plus to 4k or even 4.5k, so that we can try starting to reach the point of getting close to 150k spent per month. Very good results. As you can see, in the last days we have also increased here, which means that we need to scale more. Facebook is giving us the message that we need to scale more. There are a lot of people that are going to be amazed by watching 5 ROAS. I'm having also this kind of accounts, but there are a lot of people that are going to understand this because they want to have volume and they have lower price point items, which cannot have, of course, 5 ROAS when we talk about big spends. So in the mindset of this owner, spend as much as you can keep increasing, because if we are on 2.78 ROAS by spending 3K per day, we're losing money, we're losing on volume. So this is another mindset from someone else who would say, but I want 5 ROAS because these are the numbers of my business, which we will see most probably in one of the next ad accounts that I'm going to show you. That's all from this account. Let's move to the next one. So I promised you that I'm going to show you also smaller accounts. Also, I'm not crazy. I know that some of you don't have the Advantage Plus. So we're going to focus also on other strategies so that you can do ads. Of course, if you have Advantage Plus, it's helping a lot because Facebook is pushing it a lot right now and it has good results. One workaround it would be to have a new ad account and actually working in a new ad account, because in the new ad account most of the times there is the Advantage Plus there. But of course, it's a fresh start and everything. But if you're a new business and you don't have it, it's going to help you a lot to have Advantage Plus. So maybe consider going in a new ad account if your pixel is new and everything and you don't have it yet. So this is a smaller ad account. In the last 30 days here we spent 4.5k, 3.67. If we go on the last 7 days, let's go on this one maybe, because I'm starting a new campaign. Yeah, 3.93. If we see also in the last 7 days with the 7th over here, we see 3.29. I'm starting a new campaign which I want to test something which I'm going to explain to you in a little bit. Here the situation is this. We are having heavy retargeting because this is what the client is asking. They are asking a lot of retargeting because of the way that their business is operating. And we're having a middle of funnel, we're having a bottom of funnel, retargeting people because it's a repeated business. And we are having also our cold traffic, which is all about having ads with broad targeting. So basically what is this? These are 5 ad sets that they have exactly the same targeting because this pixel is trained, so we're targeting only males from 25 to 64. How do we know how to do that? We go to breakdown of results right now. We go by delivery. We go here by gender. Okay. We can see that it's doing only on males, of course, because we are targeting males. But let's go, for example, over here and let's watch also by delivery and let's watch also the ages. So over here it's 25-44, we're targeting up to 64. So maybe the next time we should do 25 to 44 only, because this is the interest that they are actually working. We ended up doing only male 25-64. As you can see, it's working flawlessly. We're very happy with 3.44. Break-even ROAS of this account is on 2.5. We have very good results with what we have, but they have an exceptionally good funnel and very good average order value. And maybe in my future tests I should do 25-44 because this is what is being dictated by the breakdown of results. So this is not an actual broad targeting, but when I'm referring to broad targeting a lot of times with the ad accounts, I'm referring to this. After you have some results, you go down and you break down the results and you see the ages that have worked. And by breaking down results, I'm not talking about watching 2 or 3 sales. I'm talking about watching a lot of sales. Okay, watching something like 100, 200, 300 sales in an ad set in order to define if this is an actually good pool of data in order to decide if you want to do only men for specific ages. And this is what we're doing here. After the optimization and the way that I do optimization, which I hope that I can show you in another account over here, we can see that I reached only one ad set, which is working very well. It's optimizing, and this is my cold traffic campaign. So here we don't have Advantage Plus, but what we're doing is crazy method with broad targeting. Our pixel is good enough. We started this account by doing just interests, but now we reached to the point that we have a very good trained pixel, which means that we can go to broad targeting, because broad targeting is something that is scalable. It's going to help us to keep this budget and the spending for a very much longer period. It's not going to die as easily as an interest is going to die. And of course, we have seen also that whenever you're using broad targeting, especially after the iOS 14 changes and your pixel can actually take it, that brings the best results for the longest period. So this is a much smaller account. This is for all of you that you have smaller spendings. what you can do is you can focus a little bit more on retargeting if you have a business that is based on repeated customers. You can focus also, let's say, as another 50% going to your cold traffic, which is getting new client acquisition and trying to convert new people with broad targeting crazy method, with lookalikes crazy method. You can do it with different interests in a CBO campaign. For instance, over here you could have just different interests here targeting and trying to get sales. Also, I want to mention that there are some companies, like for example, let's say the Christian brands, that they are not able to actually do interest targeting because all of the interests have been removed in the previous April, I believe. The thing is that for these companies, the only way to do it is either doing lookalikes or doing broad targeting. So broad targeting is very important, and I'm going to do a separate video explaining how broad targeting is helping me a lot to scale different accounts. And in sometimes it's actually the only way, because you can do nothing else apart from that. And if you don't have the data, either you will have to start targeting with stupid interests that are very general, which is like you're running broad targeting, for example, shopping, engage shoppers, McDonald's, whatever. And for me, it doesn't make any sense. You can still do broad targeting instead of doing this general interest. Or if you have some data, you can do lookalikes and focus on lookalikes only until you are ready to go to broad. But the ultimate goal of each account is to reach to the point that you are able to go to the broad targeting. Can we scale this account? Yes. Does the owner want it? No. It doesn't matter if I can or if I want to. It matters what the owner wants. It's not my job to actually criticize if someone wants to scale their account or not. It's up to them to decide it, because they might have stock issues. They might have problems with their credit card not being able to spend more money, whatever that may be. So don't criticize someone by the account that they have and what they are spending. It's up to them. Now, I'm doing another test over here, which is trying to take these ads to post IDs. The sad story is that the owner didn't want to do these ads that are working over here as posts, so we're trying some other post IDs that are working well in their page. As of now, we have no good results, but you know, these are tests that you have to do from time to time. But still, here I'm using my normal method, which is again the same broad targeting that it was working, and I'm using here 3 ads per ad set. Okay, so here we have 3 post IDs with a different post ID, select post ID, and a different landing page for each one of them, because there are different products. And that's it. With that small account, you can see that here doesn't have Advantage Plus, and we're working with crazy method and broad targeting, and we're trying to differentiate with dynamic creative ads in the one side, which are working very well here. But now we're trying to also do post IDs so that we can keep also some engagement and try to scale a little bit if we can. So time to go to another interesting account, bigger spends, so that you can understand. I took this account, I believe, back in August. So in August, this account was doing 30K, okay? Then I managed to spend in September 57, in October I did a little bit more, 87. In November, of course, we had the Black Friday, 132K, and in December 91K, and now if we go in January, 103K. So what do we understand from that? Let's discuss a little bit about some general things. We discussed in this channel, and I understand that for most of you it's very difficult to digest the whole content that I'm just taking out all the time, but I'm trying to put a lot of content for the people that they are super interested about Facebook ads. We discussed about the attack periods. So this account was spending 30K before me coming, and now I took it in the area of 100, and I'm going to scale it even more. Let me tell you why. The whole concept and the idea is that we have the attack periods. So when we start some ads, we are starting with 20, 30K, whatever, and then we try to see how much we can scale with our different methods, okay? And then we're trying to scale also with manual bidding. In this account, it didn't work. What a bummer. And then we go with posts, which is going to help us scale more. So now I'm in the phase of posts, because I have done all of my methods. I know what is working on this account. I had an attack period, which was the Black Friday, which helped me to scale the threshold of the account to going to a higher spend. And that means that by doing that, I reached the 130k spent. Now I need to stay on the 100k per month. So this is what I did. I did a very big scaling on this period, almost triple the budget that they were spending. And now I need to keep it in order for me to position myself for the next attack period that's going to come, whichever that may be, even if it's a promotion that they are going to have, even if it's going to be another lockdown, even if it's going to be the next Black Friday. I need to maintain this 100k and even try to scale more. Now, the break even of this account is on 4, okay? I will never go to 4. Why? Because we have a fluctuation. In big accounts that they're having big average order values that they tend to be different from time to time, you might see one day 2 ROAS, you might see the other day 20 ROAS, and the other day 8 ROAS, the other day 3 ROAS. So you need to maintain an average. And in order for you to not go even close to their break-even ROAS, you have to be much higher. You have to be to 6 or 7. And this is what I'm trying to do, and this is my experience with big accounts that they have fluctuation between average order values. So in this account, we have a completely different situation of not being happy with 2 ROAS like the other 2.5 ROAS like the other one, but it's a different situation because it's a more expensive item with higher average order value. As I said in several times, it's not the same to sell t-shirts and not the same to sell refrigerator units. And I know that these accounts look more appealing and more interesting, but let me tell you that it can, to my eyes, it can be equally appealing an account that I'm scaling to spend $500,000 with 1.3 ROAS because it has a digital product that if you spend $500,000 with 1.3 ROAS, they're profitable. So it's all about how you see it, but I understand that most of people, they are being dragged by the big ROAS and everything. I do have accounts that I actually spent $500,000 with 1.3 ROAS, but I don't think that anybody would find them interesting or understand here or being convinced to use the methods. For me, the most important thing is for you to be convinced to use the methods so that you can see the benefits on your own and understand how they are working. So if we go here on the last 30 days, of course, we have different attributions here, so we have to filter by selection whatever it has spent. So if we go here, we can see that in the last 30 days we spent 116. We are on 5.69. Let's see the last 7 days to see the tendency. I have improved that a lot. In the last 7 days we are on 6.4. The yesterday spending over here is on 4.2, which means that we are at the point that we're going for 120k. I'm going to do new ads now over here because yesterday, and this is what I told you, yesterday 4.52. On the other day it has 8.9, so it's 9 ROAS. The other day it has 2.9. The other day it has 3.55. The other day it has 2.68. So it fluctuates a lot, okay? 8.56. So you need a lot of experience to manage this kind of accounts because a lot of people that they don't have the experience, they're going to be panicking, closing ads immediately and everything. Now that we finished with the technical side and how you handle an account like this, I would like to discuss a little bit about the different methods that we are using here. Of course, we are using Advantage Plus. We are using Advantage Plus with different images and different videos. As you can see, again, we have a different fluctuation between the different campaigns and the different strategies. What we care about is only the average, guys. We don't care about the results that we are actually getting in just one campaign or in just one day. You need to be able to analyze the account in the tendency of 3 days, in the tendency of 7 days, being able to predict what is going to happen. It's not so easy to manage these accounts because one mistake or 2 mistakes can take you immediately to 2 ROAS because this is how it's working. One mistake on the site can actually ruin all of your average order value. Let's discuss a little bit about the strategies. A very basic retargeting. Not a lot of money being spent. We want to have new customer acquisition over here. There are 2 things to that. In these big ad accounts that are spending a lot of money, we know that the cold traffic ads are stealing some of the retargeting sales. We do know that. So it doesn't mean that as soon as you scale, you need to keep the rule of 30% retargeting, 70% cold traffic. The more you scale, the more the percentage of retargeting is dropping because your cold traffic ads are going to steal a lot of sales as retargeting. Do you need retargeting? Yes, you need retargeting, but you need to understand also that some of the sales of retargeting are being stolen by the cold traffic ads. Should you be worried by that? No, we don't care about that, because we really care about the fact that these are going to be used also as data points so that it can find other people which is going to convert. Another thing, here we're using Advantage Plus. As you can see, we're using 300 over here. Most probably it started with a different one. Over here, it did again the same thing that I'm telling you, but this time it optimized across two ad sets, which is kind of rare. Most of the times it optimizes like 80% of the budget to one, 20% on the second one. Here we have a split of 50-50. It's fine. Why do I not close that? I'm actually afraid, guys. Let me tell you why. If this one is spending 150 and our average ROAS is 6.49, am I getting what I want? Yes. If I close it, I open the Pandora's box, and most probably this one is going to start spending the other 150 on the other one which is above. What does this mean? That if this 150 extra is not going to be able to be absorbed as a budget and have good results from the top one, then most probably I'm going to lose my whole campaign, because I have only two ads left. So what am I doing? I'm keeping a situation as and a balance that it has right now, because quite frankly I'm getting the ROAS that I want. I know that it sounds a little bit unconventional, but let me tell you that the people that they just want to improve their ROAS, and they don't look the average and the balances that they have been created, they end up losing on ROAS instead of winning on ROAS. What am I doing here is that I'm keeping a situation with the balance that we have on this Advantage Plus. So instead of me coming here and as an amateur closing this one so that this one can improve or take all the budget or whatever, I'm keeping the situation because I'm very happy with this result, and I don't want to lose my 300 eventually, because this is a scaling account and I want to have another campaign scaling on that. So the whole situation is not only to look what you can improve, but also to look what kind of balance you have and if you can close it. If, for example, your leading ad in one campaign, and by leading I'm talking about an ad set that is having most of the spend, is having some decent ROAS, and you want to improve it and you close it, you have to keep into your mind that all of this budget is going to be released to all of the other ad sets that you have in the campaign. So be careful with what you're doing in terms of the optimization, because you might end up making things worse. What does make things worse on Facebook? First of all, fear, being afraid, and not having enough experience to actually being able to handle your emotions and closing ads super fast. Number two, being this kind of toxic guy or person that wants to go and has 3.5 ROAS and wants to make it 4. Most probably by doing these changes you will end up having 2 ROAS, because you are closing and you are mixing ad sets that are good. 3. Taking decisions super fast is good when you are experienced, but when you are an amateur it's difficult, because most probably you are going to end up making mistakes. For example, if you start with one campaign, guys, and you take all of this campaign, and then you go and you are putting on it, let's say $200 per day, and on the third day you decide to close it without optimizing it. This is why I like also the crazy method, because I have options to close ad sets and optimize it. Instead of me losing $600 in the course of 3 days, I have some options to optimize it, instead of just losing $600 because I spent all in one ad set. So think of it, can I optimize this campaign? And this is why the crazy method is a good campaign in my opinion, because you're not losing just the 600 like a bet that you put in a roulette. You're just saying, okay, this is optimizable or this is not, because I have some ads that I can work with. They have some decent ROAS, some decent cost per unique click, some decent CTRs, and I can work with them and make them better and actually make the algorithm focusing on them if it doesn't focus on the correct ones from the beginning. So the whole idea is that there are a lot of people that they are thinking, okay, 2-3 days I'm closing ads, and then again. It's like you are spending money on an ad set and you're not believing in it. So in the long term you're going to lose money, because the money that you're spending, you're not seeing the return that you should see in the long term. You're just closing the ads, doing new ones, closing the ads, doing new ones. And there are people that they do that, or they try to do that in order to be profitable, and I can tell you that they have completely different results from what they want to have. The other thing is that there is a psychological barrier when you're playing with your own money and when somebody else is actually managing your money. I'm not saying that I'm not respecting the money of the people that I'm spending. As you can see, I do. But the problem here is that there are a lot of people that they are getting panic because it's their own money, and it's very difficult. This is the same reason that it's better for you to have an investor, somebody who is going to invest your money instead of you investing them, because you have the fear factor inside and it's your money. So these are all things that they are here, but for me the most important factor is the fear and not having experience. The fear is something that it took me years to come over, and not being afraid of Facebook ads, even on higher spends, and of course watching them closely, having knowledge and experience, and all of that. The other thing that I want to show you here is that we are using also here's another Advantage Plus, but we're using also some conversion ads with the crazy method. So what are we doing here is that we are using stacked lookalikes over here. As you can see, same situation over here, guys. Okay, my leading ad is on that, so this is my quantity, so it's giving me volume of sales, and this one is bringing me quality with good ROAS. You cannot have a balance inside the campaign. Sometimes you do, but you cannot always have the balance that you are having also quantity and quality in one. You might have one which is bringing you a lot of volume of sales, and you have another one which is fixing your ROAS in the average, having 5 ROAS over here. So the question is this: do you want to have volume or do you want to have ROAS? Because the more you're going to spend, the more the ROAS is going to drop. And if you're not okay by optimizing in terms of an average and not by watching each one ad set individually and just closing it, then you're never going to be able to scale. Because you need to understand that there are going to be some ad sets that are not going to have as good ROAS as you want, but they're going to be stable there, producing you volume with a lot of sales, and you're going to have some others that are going to compensate, maybe retargeting even, that's going to compensate for the ROAS. And if you do all of that, then you're able to scale. So if you cannot scale and you're doing something like this, then this is a problematic situation that you need to fix. In this ad set, as you can see, this is a crazy method by using stacked lookalikes. What is stacked lookalikes? Using 10% lookalikes of add to cart, Facebook engagement, initiate checkout 108 days, Instagram engages 220, purchase top 25%, view content. You can see all of this in a video that I have about retargeting. This is how you do stacked lookalikes, because we have the 3 main pillars. It's interests, lookalikes, and broad targeting. Ultimate goal is to go to lookalikes and broad targeting, because they're going to be better and they're going to last longer than the interests. Of course, there are some massive interests which are huge, and if you use them and they're working, it's still fine. But as long as you're using smaller ones like 2, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 10 million, it cannot be compared with this audience, which is being compiled to 48 million people. So as you can see here, we're left with 2. We're having some very good results over here. Then there is another campaign that I was running with a crazy method, broad targeting, which is this one. So in this one again, we're left with 2. It's the way that I'm doing optimization with the ads. I'm actually coming inside and I'm spending different budgets to retargeting. This is an ABO actually. I was testing, I think, to see the limits of each one of the ad sets. This is what we call the simple method. The simple method is all about having one ad set, trying to spend as much money as you can to it, so that you can pass the learning phase and the 50 sales and be able to maintain it for a long period by just increasing or decreasing the budget based on the spend that it's going to have. I don't know if you have any with broad targeting over here. I don't remember. I think that I tried broad targeting. It didn't work that well, and then I went to let's see on this one. This is also stacked lookalikes. So the broad targeting here didn't work so well. Maybe the pixel is not ready yet, and of course it makes sense because it scaled from 20-30k to 120k, and good results over here. As you can see, the last 30 days 6.4 ROAS, 200k as a revenue, and if we go on the last 30 days, we are on 116, 5.69, more than 500,000, 661k. My next target over here is to go to 150k. Most probably in the next month I will be there. So I mean this, I'm doing this video right now in February. I think that I will be able to do it pretty soon, maybe on February, because I'm going to land some new ads taking the spend to almost 5k if, or more, which is going to bring me close to my target of 150k, which is amazing. And then I will try for 200k, 300k based on that. It's all about stacking, and now I'm in the process also of using dynamic, using Advantage Plus campaigns with post IDs, so that I can keep also all the engagement and go and try to scale even more. I think that I gave enough of information of how we handle such big accounts and that they have fluctuation on average order value and everything on this one. So one more account, and let me show you what is interesting here. When I came to this account in October, this account actually spent 8k with 9.37. Okay, the next month it went to November, spending 11k with 10 ROAS, then going to December, spending 3k with 21 ROAS. As you can see, it's the same rule that goes everywhere. We are having good ROAS, but we're not having the spend that we want. And of course, this is not appealing for the client, and this is why they asked me to scale their account. So let's see what happened and let's discuss about it. So if we go on January, what we will be able to see is that I spent 46k with 4.4 ROAS. Now, somebody would say, but why? It drops from 10 ROAS, for example, or 20 ROAS to 4 ROAS. The break even of this account is 1.5, because this is their product, this is their profit margins, whatever. And the whole situation is that, what is it better, to spend 3k with 20 ROAS or to spend let's say 100k, which I'm going to do in the next month, with 3 ROAS, for example. So if we do spend 3k with 20 ROAS, we are having 60k revenue. But on the other hand, if we do 3 ROAS and 100k spend, we're having 300k revenue. And if you do the numbers again, you will see that they're making more money out of it. So the thing here is not only the ROAS, the thing is here is also the volume. So what I'm doing here is that I'm doing several ads. Of course, we're doing some interests over here because the pixel is not so good and not so trained, as you can understand, with this small spending. So I'm having some different interests over here that I'm using. And then we're having another campaign, which is all about using stacked lookalike, or not stack, actually normal audiences. So 1 to 2% of purchase, 3%, 10% of purchase, having some results over there. And then we're having another one, which we're actually using again lookalikes. We will try it again. And then we tried also more interests over here. So here you're seeing the process of not using so much the crazy method, but actually using normal CBO campaigns with different interests in each one of the ad sets, normal CBO campaigns with lookalikes, with different lookalikes inside that. What are we going to do as a next step? We're going to focus in each one of those that they have worked and do crazy method. And the ultimate goal of this account is to go to crazy method, stacked lookalikes, and crazy method broad targeting based on the results that we have. The pixel here is fairly new. It's not able to actually understand the broad targeting. So if your pixel is new, you're having some results, you want to scale a little bit, it doesn't mean that you will have to go to broad targeting or to stacked lookalikes or even to crazy method. You can continue using interest. Of course, here we have the luxury of using interest, and you can do it by like this. But the most important thing which I want to mention here is this. We don't have Advantage Plus here. It's not the end of the world. And you can do different campaigns with dynamic ads and the interest that I mentioned and the lookalikes that I mentioned, and then move to crazy method, which is going to help you a lot. So there is also possibility without Advantage Plus to scale. And in this ad account, frankly, we can see that we're doing pretty well over here. We are having the results that we want, and most probably this month I will be able to scale it to 100k. So I wanted also to show you this ad account so that you can see how it is to scale one ad account that doesn't have such a trained pixel. So you have to go slowly, and this is the different cases from different people. This is why I'm showing so many different accounts, so that you can understand that even if your pixel is not trained enough to go with broad targeting or stacked lookalikes, you can still do things in order to scale. Is it easy to scale from 3-4k spend to 50k? Yes. Is it easy to go to 100k? it's much more difficult to go from 100k to 300k, which is going to need all the other things that I mentioned to you. Even Advantage Plus, even if you don't have it, it's going to need the crazy method, it's going to need the post IDs, it's going to need manual bidding in several cases. So I'm going to show you one more ad account, because I can show you another 10 if you want, but I think that my video editor, which is behind the camera, is having a mental breakdown right now, thinking about the editing that he has to do, because we have also to blur a lot of things here, and it's going to take forever, and if we want to air this in time, I'm not going to show other more. So let's go in an account in United Kingdom over here so that we can see, because a lot of times we also, I forgot to mention the countries of the others. One of them is in Australia, another one is in another place. You know something, I'm going to show you after that just one more, which is Australia, but it's a small one. It's a small one, again, just because I don't want to show only small ones, I'm going to show you one more. We have this ad account over here, which is in United Kingdom. United Kingdom is very good. You can also scale there. It's a packed country. Let's see what was happening here. Let's go in September. We can see that they were spending 7k over here, almost nothing. If we go on October, I started scaling on 20k. On November, I did even more, 54k. And if we go on December, 34k. Do you want to see ROAS? I think I'm not showing you ROAS. Maybe I can show you ROAS so that we can compare ROAS. So let's go with amount spent here. So the ROAS here is 18.9, okay? So they're just doing retargeting, by the way, over there. This retargeting. So if you go on these ones, let's pick them. Let's see what happened on October. On October, they spent 19k. Sadly, I will have to remove this one, guys, in order to see the ROAS a little bit. So we have 16 ROAS, okay? Let's go and let's see what we are having on the... By the way, the break-even ROAS of this account is on 4. So let's see this one. Let's go on the amount spent. Filter by selection, 9 ROAS, 54k on Black Friday. Of course, it's Black Friday. Let's go on December. Let's see what we do here. Filter by selection. 34k, 6 ROAS. And let's see what we did last month. Take all. Okay. 61k spent, 7.66. Again, this is an account that needs a lot of effort because of the different fluctuations of the average order value and everything. The results are very good. We are far away from our break-even ROAS, so we are going to keep scaling. And whoever here is watching this video and they are thinking that you have 20 ROAS with 3k and you can still have 20 ROAS by spending 100k, get the out of here, because you don't understand how marketing works and how Facebook works. Now, if we go to this situation over here and we have 61k spent, I'm going from a projectile of going to 100k in the next month, most probably. This is how I'm going to continue advancing as long as I'm getting good return on investment. 7.66 doesn't say anything to me because I want to go closer to 5 by spending as much as I can. These are the orders from the client, at least, that we should go to 5, spend as much as we can as long as we stay close to 5 ROAS. So I'm going to keep scaling. Here we're having different methods again. So whatever is working, guys. Advantage Plus, of course, which is working very well. Here in United Kingdom, the stacked lookalikes, they tend to be smaller from broad targeting. So I'm doing broad targeting over here, as you can see. And I'm having here like a 41 million audience that I can target based on the demographics that I use. Let me see if I'm doing any demographics specialization. Yeah, I'm actually not targeting 18 years old people. I'm targeting 25 to 65, all genders in United Kingdom. Most probably because I have seen from the analysis that the people from the ages of 18 to 25, they don't buy. And now that I think of the product, it makes total sense that they don't buy because they don't have the money for it. And it's all about interior design. These people, most of the time, they live in a rent. They don't have their own houses so that they can invest of doing things like that. And it's a little bit of expensive item. So over here we can see that we have an optimized CBO campaign with broad targeting crazy method working very well, 8.22, far away from that. As you know, I'm not touching these campaigns as the Advantage Plus campaigns by scaling them, their budgets, because the moment I'm going to do that, maybe it's going to be ruined. But the other one on Advantage Plus, because it's focusing on only one, it makes sense to increase it or decrease it, because it's working like an ABO optimization that you can increase and decrease. In CBO campaigns, when you have a lot of ads inside and they're optimized, the moment you go and increase it, you might lose the whole campaign because it's going to lose its balance. We're having Advantage Plus campaigns over here, different ones with post IDs, some with images, some with videos. Another thing that I want to mention about Advantage Plus is that you should not mix videos with images together, because at the end of the day, the first pinpoint that the Advantage Plus has in order to understand if something is good or bad is the engagement. So they run the ads, they see which one gets the best engagement so that it can focus and spend more money to it. Guess what is going to happen if you run images and videos? The images, in order to get engagement, they are going to need to be clicked or shared or commented. The videos on the feed, even 1 second of the autoplay is considered engagement, so they're getting better spend, and Facebook thinks that they have better engagement, so it's going to spend more money to it. So put images separately, videos separately, so that you're going to be able to actually have some decent testing. And of course, you know what we said about Advantage Plus. If something is working, you duplicate it, remove the one ad that is working, and you run a completely other campaign, because maybe you're going to have some other gems also that are hidden which are not being used. Another thing that we're having over here, as you can see, is another crazy method campaign that it had broad targeting. Another thing that I would like to mention here is the amount of money that we put in a budget as a CBO in the crazy method, and the amount of ads that we put. It really depends on your experience in each ad account. So when I come here, I use one simple rule, which is I'm seeing what is the average cost per purchase that they are getting. If it is 20, for example, what I'm going to do is that in a budget of $200, I'm not going to put 10 ad sets. I'm going to divide this by 2. So I'm going to put 20 ad sets for a $200 budget, which gives us an ask to Facebook of giving us $10 cost per purchase in each one of the ad sets. And I'm doing that just in order to test if it's optimizing super fast or super slow. So what you're doing is in a CBO optimization, and of course I'm having several videos on how we optimize CBO campaigns, and I'm going to do a new one for 2023 also. What you're doing is that you are trying to see if all of your ad sets are spending super fast. For example, if you go the next day and you see all of them spend $20 each, then it means that you need to put more ad sets so that you can slow the process. If you go and all of them have spent the next day $5 each, then it's not enough in a daily level, and it means that you need to put less ad sets in order for it to spend more. So if you see it spending too fast between the ad sets in the CBO campaign, put more to slower the budget and distribute more budget. If you see it spending too slow and just a small amount in each one of the ad sets, it means that you put it a lot of ad sets and you need to put less in order for you to be able to give good chances with spend in a daily level. Never forget that the budgets are always daily. The budgets are not weekly. So you need to look and you need to see what you are asking in a daily level from Facebook and not in a weekly or monthly level from Facebook. In other words, we don't care if you spend $3,000 in 1 month, which looks like a big number, but we care about how much you spend in a daily level, which is $100 per day, and how much you're trying to get as a cost per purchase in each one of the ad sets when you're putting several ad sets in a CBO. So the whole point over here is this. First of all, to start working in an account and see how many ad sets you have to put in order for it not to go super fast or super slow, and being able to have substitutes if you have to remove one ad set. And the second thing is to understand the balances. So how many ad sets they should be left, and what kind of budget should we have? Should we lower our budget from our initial budget, or should we keep it as it is? Do we have enough ad sets inside, or we have just 2 ad sets remaining, so we have to just lower the budget so that we can have a new balance? What is the balance? The balance is the point that you're having 1, 2, 3, 4 ad sets spending a specific amount of money, giving you an average return that you want, and you're not touching that because you don't want to disturb it, okay? So one of them may be having 1.3 ROAS and the other one, it might have 6 ROAS. You don't touch that. You don't try to improve it. You try to keep it as it is because you are getting the average that you want and you don't want to disturb this balance. This is the whole philosophy that I have about CBO campaigns optimization. And let me tell you that it served me really well. And let me tell you that when other people are touching stuff, they are ruining stuff. So my whole system and my whole process, and this is the whole idea about this video, is to show you all of that. It's working flawlessly if you come and you're going to embrace it and you're going to start using it. And I can tell you that it's working several accounts, and I can tell you that it's working with several people that they have trained and they are doing it on their own. And I can tell you that it's working with a lot of my students that they have their own clients. Now, so I showed you what is happening here. I showed you we have very good results in the last month, 61K spent, almost $500,000 in revenue, 7.66 ROAS. It means that I will have to scale more. I'm going to scale more. Most probably in February we'll go to 100K. At least this is what I will try to do. Maybe I will end up doing 80K. Of course, these accounts are accounts that you need to look a lot and you need to take care of them in a daily level. Okay, last video. So this account is in Australia. It's a completely new account and I started working with it, of course, with the new pixel and stuff. So let me show you some things about it. So in October, the spend here, I wasn't there at that point. It was 700, 0.69. Then in November, I started spending 1,500 just for this month, just to start testing. So the ROAS went on 2. Let me tell you that the owner of this account wants 4 ROAS. I don't think that it's achievable. We have some contradiction about that, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to improve it. It is improving, but I will tell you when we go to the last month that I don't think that it's going to go on 4 ROAS. I think that it's on 3 ROAS. The fact that you are having an account and you want to have 4 ROAS doesn't tell me anything. If I'm telling you that based on CPMs, based on what I see and based on the pixel that you have, that you're going to be closer to the 3 ROAS, maybe you have to do something on your backend or your average order value or whatever in order to improve it, because the fact that you want 4 ROAS or 5 ROAS or 6 ROAS just for your numbers to make sense doesn't say anything about Facebook, because Facebook never invited you to come advertise to the platform, so you have to make it profitable for yourself and not the opposite. So over here we started with some retargeting, and then we did some interests that we have used in order to start getting some data. After we took some data, we started testing on December lookalikes. Over here, let's filter by selection. So I improved it more. On December, I spent it 4.5K, 2.68. For me, it's a win. For them, it's not. Because still, I managed to scale to 4.6K, and I managed also to test on the same period. You see on this campaign we have 0.72, 0.73, 1.32. So I'm having also my fails inside there, and I still managed to improve the ROAS to 2.68. And of course here I'm using, after locating some good interests over here, I'm using crazy method with this specific ad, which did well. I'm using some lookalikes, 1%, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 2 to 3, because the pixel is fairly new and I cannot use that lookalikes yet. I'm using some other interests with crazy method and everything, and some retargeting. Of course, the retargeting spend, as you can see, is very small comparing to what we have in cold, because I'm trying to fix their cold ads. Then if we go to the last month, you can see here, this is actually good because I'm showing you that it's not always, you know, an easy task. So last month, I managed to do 5, almost 6K, 3.18. Still they want 4 ROAS. Maybe they're a little bit spoiled from the way that I came to the account and what I did. To be honest with you, if I'm not able to hit 4 ROAS the next month, I'm just going to drop the account and they can work with someone else if this is their target, because maybe they don't understand that you cannot do whatever you want with Facebook, okay? So for me, it's a win-win. For me, it's a win situation over here, okay? But if it's not for them, for the numbers, I totally get it. They can go and they can try with someone else. Most probably this account is going to produce for us maybe later if they have a a very good trained pixel, but not right now. And you might tell me why you went to 3.2 ROAS and you cannot go now to 4 ROAS, but you already scaled in the previous month. This is my gut. My gut is telling me that it's not going to go to 4 ROAS. Did I believe that we can go to 3 ROAS? Absolutely. I believe that I can go to 3 ROAS because I was seeing that the ads that I'm having, they were optimizing and stuff. But even if you see here, in the last month, none of them is on the 4 ROAS. Even my best ads over here, that I have the best campaigns, they are not on 4 ROAS. How would I believe that we can get in 4 ROAS? If those 2 or 3, they were 4.5, and I would say, okay, I can have some leading campaigns with 4.5, some others with 3.5, 3.6, and then the average is going to be on 4. Now, because I'm watching that the best optimized campaigns that I have with enough data and everything, they are on 3.84, I believe that this cannot go to 4 ROAS. Maybe it can go to 3.5, but not on 4 ROAS. The situation here is that I did even more optimization, I did even more ad sets over here with optimized, and then they decided to close some of my ads because they didn't like the results, which is also another sad situation. In this channel, I like to show you also the reality and what is happening actually with working with some accounts. It's not always the easiest cooperation with a lot of people, but in my opinion here, I think that, you know, I improved everything. I started with a completely new pixel without even data. I have scaled, I have increased ROAS while I was scaling, which is an accomplishment on its own, and still it's not enough. And then they go and they touch also my ads, which is not okay. That's the situation with this account. You can see that also in new pixels there are things to do. You can start with interest, then you can go to using this interest with crazy method, optimize, keep what is working. For example, in this ad account, you can see that I'm using the structure of 3 or 4 ad sets, which is starting with $100, but after I'm left with only one that is doing well, I'm switching it to 50. How did this plan came? Actually, by optimizing. I was optimizing and I was watching that, okay, I can be left with one, with 50 as a daily budget, and that was going to work well, and it worked well, and it worked well in the next campaign, in the next campaign, in the next campaign. So it came by experience, by optimizing, by seeing what kind of spend I have, how much I need to spend in order to maintain this ad set that is remaining and everything. And this is what I'm telling you about the CBO optimization, that is not about following a blueprint, it's about understanding from all of these different examples that I'm giving you how it's working, so that you can do it with your own rules. Because maybe for your ad account is going to be having 6 ad sets and $70, for example, okay? And then staying only with $30 and 1 ad set. Everything is changing, and everything is all about the experience that you have, and also the feeling that you have about an ad account after working with campaigns, optimizing. This sums all the accounts, different countries, United States, Europe, United Kingdom. I showed you everything. I have several more ad accounts to show you. I will try to show all of them in future videos and everything. And I show you new ad accounts, I show you ad accounts that I scaled, I show you ad accounts that I scaled a little bit. But I think you got a general idea of my philosophy about 2023 on how to run ads. We mentioned everything from crazy method, we mentioned Advantage Plus, we mentioned retargeting and balances, how to optimize CBO campaigns and how to keep them, and how to scale with Advantage Plus campaigns, stacked lookalikes, crazy method, broad targeting, when to start broad targeting, when to do interest and lookalikes, normal campaigns with different CBOs, number of budgets in CBOs, budgets and everything. Everything is in this video.
What is this? A crossover episode?
I hope you're going to enjoy because my video editor is going to work her ass off to actually do it. So that's all I had for you. You can see the different accounts, the different methods that we used, smaller accounts, bigger accounts. Everything is there for you. I hope that it makes sense. I hope that you can understand it. If you want to understand more about it, you can watch all of my different videos about the crazy method, about lookalikes, about CBO optimization, all of this kind of stuff. Don't forget, guys, that if you want to learn more about Facebook ads, you can check my book and my free course, which is on my site over here. And until we meet again, be creative and be consistent.